Last class, we finished up drawing and cutting out and gluing on our haunted house. If you didn't get that far, you need to get caught up with that. We focused on using diagonals for our walls, and remember those diagonals give that building kind of a creepy effect. It's not perfectly vertical like you would expect to see on a house. Today, we're going to finish it off by adding some details as well as some windows and doors. So I'm going to start with my door. And we are going to be making kind of a similar shape to our house. We're going to use those diagonals, just like we did before. Diagonal and horizontal. Something like that. Remember to look at how big your house is. If you've got a pretty big house, you probably need kind of a big door. Cut it out. And you can see how it goes. Notice that it's bigger on top, smaller at the bottom, just like my house is. If you want, you can add some details. Remember that we talked about how to do things like bats, like witches, like cats, ghosts. We talked about that before we did our house. So if you're going to do those, you need to do them before you glue on your door. I'm not going to worry about adding my details right now, but you will do it before you glue on your door because we don't want to get any glue on our Sharpies. Windows are pretty much the same as the door. They're going to be a little bit more rectangular. Probably needs to be thinner too. Something like this. It's just slightly smaller at the bottom than it is at top. If you have any side buildings on your house, they have to have a window. Because if you just leave this section right here without a window, it's going to look like just a big black spot coming off the edge of your window. That's going to get glued on. You add a window pane to it before you glue it on. So that's just like a vertical line. And then a couple horizontals. And that can get glued on. Notice I'm going to glue it down at a diagonal as well. It's not going to be perfectly straight up and down. And all you need is a couple dots of glue. And last but not least, I need a window for my attic. Attic windows are oftentimes circles, so I'm going to cut out a small circle. Double check to make sure it's the right size, and it is. And oftentimes with attic windows, we see that it's a small circle, like this. And it looks almost like a target, so it's got two verticals and two horizontals coming out each direction, like that. And I'm going to glue that on top of my attic. After you have all of your details done, such as ghosts, witches, cats, bats, anything else that you want to add, and after you have your windows put on, you are finished for the day, and this can go on the drying rack.